Hello everyone, myself Raman Deves, and today in the lecture we'll be discussing chopper circuits or DC-DC converters. So let's start. Choppers are also known as DC-DC converters, and they are used for changing a fixed DC supply into a variable DC supply. So that is the purpose of using a chopper circuit. They are used for changing a fixed DC supply into variable DC supply. And a variable DC supply means we are having a voltage source whose output voltage can be changed as per our need. This voltage level can be changed as per our need. That is a variable DC supply. Now this kind of variable DC supply is needed for many of the industrial applications. So we can obtain this variable DC voltage supply using different methods. Let's see what are the methods, and using choppers is one of the methods. So if we are having AC voltage source or AC voltage supply is there, so we can obtain output DC output voltage using motor generator set, where motor is used to run a DC generator, and output of this DC generator can be varied to obtain this variable DC voltage. Similarly, we are having phase controlled rectifiers which uses thyristors for getting a variable DC output voltage. By changing the firing angle of the thyristor, we can obtain variable DC voltage as output. Next is, if we are having a constant DC source, then also we can obtain variable DC using an inverter. First we are changing so using an inverter we are changing the constant DC source into AC supply, and then this AC is stepped up or stepped down using a transformer, and this output of this transformer is AC, and this AC is again converted to DC using a rectifier. So we are converting this DC into AC first, and then AC is stepped up or stepped down as per our requirement, and then AC is again converted to DC. So this is AC link chopper, because AC is intermediate step between this DC and input DC and output DC. AC is linking this input and output DC, that is why it is known as AC link chopper. And it is not very efficient because we are having two step conversion. First we are converting DC into AC and then again AC into DC. So this is not very efficient. So other method is using DC chopper or DC link chopper, where this output DC is obtained directly from constant DC input using DC chopper. So let's see how this is done. So this AC link chopper, they are costly, they are bulky and less efficient due to two-step conversion process. DC chopper is static device that converts constant or fixed DC into variable DC. And a chopper may be thought of as DC equivalent of an AC transformer, because it is also used for stepping up or stepping down the DC voltage level here. So in the chopper circuit we can use any of the switching circuit. So we can use any of the semiconductor devices in the chopper circuit. It can be thyristor or power BJT, power MOSFET, IGBT or GTO. We can use any of these devices in the chopper circuit. Basically these devices are used as switch. In the chopper circuit. So these power semiconductor devices which we have seen here are simply represented by a switch in the chopper circuit, and the switch is having an arrow, and this arrow represents the direction of current flow. So the switch which is used in the chopper circuit can be any semiconductor device, any of the above semiconductor device can be used in the chopper circuit as switch. It will be just represented by switch, but it can be any device. if we are using suppose thyristor, then it will require commutation circuit also. It will require commutation circuit, but it is not shown here with the switch. The commutation circuit which is required for this thyristor will not be shown here. It will just be represented as a switch, and other turning on switch, turning on circuit or turning off circuit of the thyristor will not be shown here for simplicity. So a chopper circuit can be used for either stepping up or stepping down the fixed DC voltage which is given as input. This fixed DC input voltage can be either stepped up or stepped down. So based on this, chopper has been classified into two types. One is step up chopper and other is step down chopper. So first we'll be seeing step down chopper, and we'll be seeing the principle of operation of step down chopper here. It is basically a switch. A chopper basically consists of a high speed semiconductor switch, and this switch, when it turns on or it turns off, it either connects or disconnects the load with the supply. By turning on or turning off of this semiconductor switch, we are connecting or disconnecting the load with the supply, and hence we are getting chopped load voltage. The DC voltage which is given as input, by turning on or turning off of the switch, we are getting a chopped DC voltage, and hence the average DC voltage or average value of this DC voltage will be somewhat other than the input DC voltage. That is the basic working principle of step down chopper or step up chopper. So this is the output voltage waveform of step down chopper. For certain duration of time, the switch is on. When this switch is on, then we are getting output DC voltage, and when this switch is open, when this switch is off, then we are not getting any output DC voltage here. So in this manner we are getting chopped load voltage, and the current is assumed to be continuous here because a freewheeling diode is connected in the circuit here. A freewheeling diode is connected in the circuit which carries the load current even when the chopper is open. This circuit is representing the step down chopper circuit. Here this one is semiconductor switch, which may be thyristor or IGBT or MOSFET. Then we are having an inductor which is storing the energy when this switch is closed. When this switch is closed, then current flows in the circuit in this manner. And the inductor will store energy. And when we are turning off the switch, when this switch is open, then current will flow in this manner. The energy which was stored in the inductor will be released, and current will flow in this manner, in this closed loop, using this freewheeling diode. So that is why the current through the load is continuous, whereas the voltage profile is chopped load voltage. DC voltage is chopped in many parts. Now when the switch is on, then load current will rise because the inductor which is there in the circuit will store charge or will store energy, and when the switch is off, then load current decreases because the energy stored in the inductor is released. And chopper or the switch, when it is turned off, it is turned off using a commutation circuit. Because the source is DC, it cannot have natural commutation. The switch cannot have natural commutation, so we do require a commutation circuit separately, but it is not shown here for simplicity. Now let's see the expression for average output voltage. When the switch is on, then load is getting connected to the source, and hence the load voltage will be equal to the source voltage. But when the switch is off, then load voltage will be 0 because the source is disconnected from the load, and the current which is flowing in the load is through the freewheeling diode. That means the load is getting short circuited using freewheeling diode. That is why load voltage will be 0 when the switch is turned off. So average voltage will be given by uh, T on upon T on plus T off into Vs. V naught, or average voltage, average load voltage, is equal to T on upon T on plus T off into Vs, because the switch is turned on for a duration of T on out of the total duration of T on plus T off. So the load voltage will be there for a duration of T on only, and hence this is the formula for the average load voltage. And this T on upon T, or the time period of the uh, switching circuit, which is equal to T on plus T off. So T on upon T is known as duty cycle. It is represented by alpha, and alpha is equal to T on upon T. This is known as duty cycle. So the expression for average output voltage is V naught is alpha Vs, or V naught is T on upon T into Vs, or time period T can be represented or can be written as 1 upon F, where F is the chopping frequency. So V naught is equal to F into T on into Vs. So these are the formulas which one needs to remember, and questions are asked based on these formulas from this topic. So you need to remember these formulas in this form. So we can see from here that output voltage, average output voltage V naught, can be changed using by changing the duty cycle alpha, and this duty cycle is dependent on T on as well as T. So this output voltage V naught can be changed by changing this alpha, and alpha can be changed by using either T on or this time period, chopping time period, or chopping frequency, or the turn on time. So by changing these we can change the output voltage. So this duty cycle alpha can be changed by either changing this chopping frequency F or the turn on time. So based on this, we can have two methods of changing this alpha duty cycle. Why are we changing alpha? We are changing alpha to change this output voltage, because our aim is to obtain variable DC. We are studying this topic because our aim is to obtain variable DC. And how are we obtaining this variable DC? By changing this alpha, because V naught is equal to alpha times Vs. So Vs is constant, this is input voltage, this is constant, and we are changing this alpha to change this output voltage in order to get this variable DC supply. Now how are we changing this alpha? We are changing alpha, since alpha is T on upon T, so we can either change T on or we can change T. We can change any one of this while keeping the other constant. We need to keep the other constant, and we need to change one of these. So that is how we are obtaining this variable DC. So based on the method which is adopted for changing this alpha, we are having two methods. First is constant frequency system, where frequency is kept constant, whereas we are changing this T on time period, turn on time of the switch is changed here. So this method is also known as pulse width modulation, because for the duration when we are keeping this switch turned on, this is the duration for which switch is kept turned on. So we are changing this duration in order to change the DC level or DC output voltage. We are changing this turn on time of the switch. By changing this turn on time, the output DC voltage will change. So since this T on determines the width of this pulse, or the duration for which this pulse is obtained, that is why it is also known as pulse width modulation. The duration for which we are keeping the switch on determines the pulse width. I am repeating it. The duration for which we are keeping this switch on determines the pulse width. That is why we also call this method as pulse width modulation. we can see the frequency or the time period of the chopper is kept constant. The time period is constant in both the cases, but we are changing the on time, turn on time of the switch is changed here to obtain different value of alpha, and hence we obtain different value of output voltage. And since by changing this turn on time, width of this pulse we can see is changing, that is why it is also known as pulse width modulation. Similarly, second method is variable frequency system or variable frequency method. Here we are keeping either turn on time or turn off time. Any of these two is kept as constant. Any one of these two is kept constant, and frequency is varied or frequency is changed. Any one of the two will be kept constant and the other one will change, hence changing this frequency. Now let's see here how it is obtained. Here in the figure we can see here the frequency is changed. Here time period was this much and here the time period is different, but in both the cases the turn on time is kept constant. Turn on time is kept constant for both the cases, whereas turn off time is changed. Turn off time is changed in both the cases to change this frequency. So by changing this frequency we are changing the alpha, and hence we are getting variable output voltage. Now let's compare the frequency modulation scheme with pulse width modulation scheme. So frequency modulation scheme is having certain disadvantages as compared to pulse width modulation scheme. First is that the chopping frequency in frequency modulation scheme, the chopping frequency range is very wide. The chopping frequency range is very wide. So the output is not pure DC. We know that it is chopped DC. So it will have harmonics. It will have harmonics. And we need to remove these harmonics from the output voltage profile. So how are we removing this harmonics from the output voltage profile? We need to design filter circuit which filters out the harmonics from the output voltage. So when we are having a wide frequency range, then we need to design very complex filter circuit. For wide frequency range of operation, we need to design very complex filter circuit to remove the harmonic content from the output. So that is first difficulty here. Next is that wide frequency variation leads to interference with signaling and telephone lines. And third is that large turn off time in frequency modulation scheme leads to make the load current discontinuous, which is undesirable. We can see from here the here turn on time is same for both the cases, but turn off time is different here. So for large turn off time, the load current may become discontinuous, which is not desirable in frequency modulation scheme. That is the third point. Next is step down chopper with resistive load. Step down chopper means the output voltage or the average output voltage is less than the input voltage. Both are DC, but the output voltage magnitude or average value is less than the input voltage. That is step down chopper. So here the circuit is quite simple. Here we are using one switch which can be IGBT or MOSFET or thyristor, and when the switch is turned on, then this input voltage appears across the load, which is resistive. So when the chopper or the switch is closed, then input voltage appears across the load. Here we can see when the switch is on, this is turn on time, then the source voltage appears across the load, and when this chopper or the switch is off, then no voltage will be available across the load. When the switch is off, then voltage across the load will be 0. So using this we can find the average value and the RMS value of the output voltage. So here we have seen when chopper is on, V naught is Vs, and when chopper is off, then V naught is 0. Average value of output voltage is, time period is t, so it is 1 upon t. From 0 to t on, output voltage is equal to load voltage, so it is Vs, and when from t on to t, the output voltage is 0. On integrating this, we get output voltage is V naught. V naught is T naught, T on upon T into Vs. T on upon T is known as duty cycle or alpha, and T off or turn off time will be equal to T into 1 minus alpha, which is this is equal, T off is T minus T on, and it is equal to T into 1 minus alpha. So this is average value of voltage. Similarly, average value of load current will be equal to V naught upon R or alpha Vs upon R. Similarly, we can find the RMS value of the output voltage. It is equal to 1 upon T, under root of everything, 1 upon T, V 0 to T on Vs square dt. So this RMS value is equal to Vs under root alpha. V naught was average value, which was equal to alpha times of Vs, and VOR is RMS value, which is equal to Vs times of under root alpha. We know that the load resistance R is constant. This load resistance is constant, but this appears as variable resistance to the source. This is load resistance. It appears as variable resistance to the source. It appears as variable resistance to the source. So this effective input resistance, which is seen by the source, is equal to source voltage upon output current, Vs upon I naught, and this is equal to Vs upon alpha Vs upon R, because I naught is alpha Vs upon R. So this Ri is equal to R upon alpha. By changing the duty cycle, this effective resistance which is seen by the source can be changed, and hence the current output can be changed. Next is step down chopper with RLE load. RLE load we are considering here because this is more general case of load. If we understood the working with RLE load, then we can easily know the function of chopper circuit with RL load even. So we are taking here RLE load, and here since it's chopper circuit, so it's variable DC, as we get the variable DC as output, but here it's not the perfect DC, it's variable DC. So here our aim is to check the variation of the current over whole time period and the ripples present in the current. The current profile is not like constant DC, it's variable and it is having ripples in it. So our aim here is to find the ripple content and see the variation in current over the whole time period t. It's not like constant DC, it is having ripples in it. So we are trying to focus on the ripple content in the output current profile. So RLE load can be considered as DC motor, or even a battery may be considered as RLE load. DC motor is having back EMF EB, that is why it can be considered as RLE load, or we can have a battery here as RLE load. And in the circuit with RLE load, we need to connect a freewheeling diode. We'll be seeing the function of this freewheeling diode. This FD here is freewheeling diode. It must be connected in RLE circuit. Now this is the chopper or the switch. So initially when this chopper is on, then the current flows from the source to the load in this path, and energy is stored in this inductor. When the current flows from the source to the load, when this chopper is on, then energy is stored in the inductor. In the next when we are in the next time period, when or after turn on time, when we are turning off this chopper, when this chopper is turned off, then the energy which was stored in the inductor is released through this freewheeling diode and since this freewheeling diode conducts, that is why the output voltage across this load will be equal to 0, because freewheeling diode is conducting. It is almost like short circuiting the load. So output voltage will be equal to 0 when this freewheeling diode conducts, but this voltage will be 0, but load current will be flowing, because the inductor was storing energy and it is trying to release its energy when the freewheeling diode is conducting. So current will be there, but the output voltage will be equal to 0. We'll be seeing the profile just now. So this is how the circuit operates. In step 1, chopper is on and the current flows from supply to load, and in step 2, chopper is off, then load current continues to flow through the freewheeling diode. We can also apply the KVL in this two steps and obtain the current profile or the current equation. So when chopper is on, then the circuit looks like this. There is no role for freewheeling diode here. Chopper is on, so the energy is getting stored in the inductor circuit. So for turn on time, for 0 to t on period, the differential equation governing the operation is Vs is Ri plus L di by dt plus E. Now when chopper is off, then freewheeling diode conducts during the turn off period, and the differential equation can be written as 0 is equal to Ri plus L di by dt plus E. So we can obtain the solution for the above two equations using Laplace transformation, and we have just taken some certain assumptions that the minimum value of the initial current is Imn and the maximum value of initial current is Imax. So the current profile will look somewhat like this. This is the maximum value and this is the minimum value, and the current profile will look like this. During this period, turn on time, the capacitor is charging. That is why the current will rise exponentially, and during turn off period, the capacitor is discharging, so it will again discharge exponentially in this manner. So the profile of current looks somewhat like this. One thing which we need to remember is that for turn on period, the reference which we are taking is for turn on period, the reference which we are taking is from this, but for turn off period, since the chopper is turned off at this time, so T off will be measured from this. So accordingly, let's take other time coordinate as t dash, which is measured from this axis, which is measured from here. So t dash will be equal to t minus t on. This t is measured from this instant. And we subtract this time period of t on to get the other coordinate system of t dash for consideration during off period. When we are trying to find the expression of current during off period, then we will be using this t dash instead of t. So we take the Laplace transform of both first and second equation and we solve it. So after solving the Laplace equation, we get the expression for current as this, and during the time interval of 0 to t on, we can put the values of maximum and minimum value of current at t is equal to t on. We can see that the current is at its maximum value when when the inductor has charged to its maximum value, then current is maximum at t is equal to t on time interval. So putting the values here, putting the values in the above expression, we can get I max is Vs minus E upon R, 1 minus E to the power R by L into T on plus I minimum E to the power minus R upon L into T on. Similarly, here we are getting expression in terms of T dash, and the time interval here is between T on to T. So at T dash is equal to 0 or T dash is equal to T off, we put the values, and at T dash is equal to T off, the value of current is I minimum. The current has already reduced to its minimum value. So putting the value in the expression, we get the following expression for minimum current and this expression for maximum current. Now we can solve these two expressions for minimum and maximum current and get the final result as this. These two expressions are very important even from semester exam point of view as well as from competition point of view. Questions are asked based on the minimum and maximum current expression in chopper circuit. These are very important expressions and you must remember it. Now we can solve the above two expression to find the value of maximum current and minimum current, and this is other important expression for minimum and maximum current, and it is very important and you must remember it, and you must not confuse between the expressions here. For I max it is Vs upon R, 1 minus E to the power minus T on upon Ta, where Ta is equal to R upon L. I'm sorry, here Ta is equal to L upon R. I'm extremely sorry. Ta is equal to L upon R. So this is the expression for I max. Similarly for I minimum, it is Vs upon R, E to the power T on upon T, Ta minus 1 upon T minus Ta minus 1 minus E to the power R minus E by R. So finally these two expressions are very important and you must remember it. Now the current variation between maximum and minimum value is known as ripple current. This is I max and this is I minimum. So variation of current between this I max and I minimum is known as ripple current. So we are now going to find the ripple content or ripple current in the above step down chopper with RLE load. So I max minus I minimum, and on subtracting the value of these two which we obtained earlier, we get the expression for ripple current as this. And this is also very important from exam point of view. We can also obtain the per unit value of ripple current by dividing I max minus I minimum by Vs upon R. So this will be the expression for per unit value of ripple current. Now we know that there is a ripple current in the output obtained from DC chopper. There is ripple current. Now this ripple current can have different magnitude. Here suppose we are having certain amount of ripple current, then this ripple current can be decreased by using certain design modifications or by changing the alpha value. We can see that this delta I or the ripple current is dependent on duty cycle. So by changing the alpha, we can reduce the ripple current, or the ripple may increase to its maximum value under certain condition. So this is the maximum value of this ripple current. Ripple current is maximum here. So let's see at what value of this duty cycle alpha, the ripple current will be having its maximum value, that we obtain maximum ripple in the output voltage. So what will be that value of alpha? On solving the expression or on differentiating the above expression with respect to alpha and equating to 0, we obtain that at alpha is equal to 0.5, this ripple current is maximum. Ripple current is maximum when duty cycle is equal to 0.5. in certain competitive exams this question is asked, the value of alpha is asked, and the value of this maximum ripple current will be is given by this delta I max is Vs upon R tan hyperbolic T upon 4 Ta. This is also very important expression, and in competition direct questions are asked from this part. Vs upon R tan hyperbolic T upon 4 Ta. So here this time period T is also equal to 1 upon frequency F, and this Ta is equal to L upon R. So putting the value of this T as 1 upon F and Ta as L upon R, we get the expression of delta I max as Vs upon R tan hyperbolic R upon 4FL. Now this 4FL magnitude can be very large as compared to the resistance value. So tan hyperbolic R upon 4FL is approximately equal to R upon 4FL. This is just the approximate relation which we are trying to find between delta I max and the frequency term, chopping frequency term, so that we understand the relation between the ripple current and the chopping frequency. So we are trying to approximate the above expression, the expression which we obtained earlier. We are trying to approximate it. So under this condition, maximum value of ripple current will be equal to delta I max is Vs upon R upon 4FL, and finally the simplified value is delta I max is Vs upon 4FL. This is very important expression, you must remember it. In competition they are asking such type of question. We can see that there is direct relation between the chopping frequency and the ripple current. I mean to say that this maximum value of this ripple current is dependent on the chopping frequency as well as the circuit inductance. These are the two parameters on which your maximum ripple current depends.